Hi folks, I decided to make a video on how to make my most delicious kale, which I think is super addictive. And it's kind of the only way I really eat kale unless it's in a soup, which I also really like, but I don't eat kale smoothies and put kale in other things. This is super, super good. So here are the ingredients. Kale, pre-washed, cut into small pieces. It could be smaller than this. Sometimes I chop it really fine and that's also good. You need kale. Garlic. This is 2 garlic cloves. You need lemon juice. You could use squeezy lemon or a fresh lemon. Olive oil. Soy sauce. My favorite is kikkoman with googly eyes. And you need wine. Red wine preferably. You can either use regular wine or I found in the grocery store Goya cooking wine. It's a giant bottle for really cheap, so that works as well. The first step is to turn on, you can use a wok. I ruined my wok, so now I use this. It's cast iron coated with enamel, which is really awesome and very easy to clean, but you can use a wok or a giant frying pan if you want. So you turn it up medium to high heat and you add a drizzle of olive oil. Depends on how much kale you have, but I would say, I don't know, 2 tablespoons worth maybe. And you wait for that to get hot. You can actually add your garlic now. So, and it doesn't matter that it's not going to cook all the way. It'll end up cooking all the way when you mix it with the kale, but you can add it in first. And just stir it around. And wait until the oil starts to sizzle and these start to sizzle, but you don't want to wait too long because you don't want the garlic to burn. Once you hear the garlic start to sizzle, you're going to add the kale. You can add a ton of it because it's all going to shrink down. Whee! Well, that's a lot. This is all pre-washed and dried. You can add it wet if you want to. That actually works really well because the added water helps to, want to turn the heat down. Sorry, I forgot to mention that. Turn the heat down a little lower and just start stirring this so that it incorporates all of the oil and the garlic. Just keep doing that for a couple of minutes. This is the most challenging part of the whole thing because there is a lot and you want to keep turning it until you see that it all turns from like this pale green to this shiny green, which means it's completely coated with oil and it's starting to actually cook. It takes a while, maybe, I don't know, 5 minutes, and you can stir with your hands too because it's a lot. I mean, you can make smaller batches of this obviously and it won't be so crazy. Whoa! Once the kale is all fully coated and shrinking down, which this is, you actually want to turn the heat back up a little bit so that it fries. And you keep turning it this whole time. At this point, you want it to slightly brown and get a little not crispy. I definitely wouldn't say crispy, but it's shrinking. And frying. So yeah, maybe about 5 minutes total of this constant stirring. So once you start to see, yeah, some of it is seared. That's the word I was looking for. So a little bit browning. Then you add a table, let's see, I never measure anything, so this is, I would say, a tablespoon of wine, and let it sizzle up. Keep stirring. There's a lot of stirring in this recipe. Stir, the wine, the alcohol is going to cook off. Stir. You can also, well, I'll do this first. So then wine, so I've got my squeezy lemon, and I would say a couple passes, a couple squeezes. I wouldn't say a whole lemon unless you like super love lemon, and it's gonna take a while to figure out like the ratios of what you like. So that's starting to fry up, and then soy sauce, another I don't know, teaspoon. Not measuring. And you can taste it along the way. It's supposed to taste, you know, garlicky, soy saucy, lemony, winey. So now it's all pretty much incorporated. And what you can do at this point is turn off the heat and cover it. And now it's basically gonna steam with all those flavors, all those sauces. It's gonna steam and just shrink down even more, and then it'll be ready to serve. So I let that kale sit in the pot for probably about 5 minutes with it covered and the heat off, and that huge bag of kale just shrunk down to this little bowl here. And you want to make sure, well, I like my kale really tender. I don't like it super chewy. So the longer you leave it in there, obviously, the more it gets sort of steamed up. But like the garlic, I don't know if you can see, those like nice little garlic pieces. Yeah, it's really, really good. And it's even better the second day. So enjoy.